Let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages, FHA, VA, conventional loans. They'll help you with all of that. And make sure that if you are going to go into the rat race of looking for a new house, you want to be armed with that pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage. And they'll sit down with you, talk to you, give you the best advice they possibly can, and you'll just be in good shape as you go out there and look for a new house. Refis too, they handle all that. You can find them in person at 114th and Davenport or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, so we always like to talk a little bit about some national real estate news that CoStar is kind enough to give us. CoStar is a data distribution company that provides information about the real estate market. So this week, they tell us about Walmart. And Walmart has been using pop-up container yards to improve the flow of products to fill store shelves around the country and the world. An empty lot, we're mostly talking about the United States now though, an empty lot near the LA and Long Beach ports has been processing 500 containers a day. Walmart's doing the same thing at their at the big Savannah, Georgia port. At the Southern California ports, which had the biggest bottlenecks earlier, remember we were talking about that so much a few weeks ago, Walmart has seen a 51% improvement in containers flowing through them. The retailer does have more inventory on hand now than it did in last year's holiday season.
Quite braggarts, huh? You'll see in their parking lot sometimes they'll have containers there that, especially this time of year, so much inventory is moving through there that they need the extra space.
That's the guess what's in the container and you can have it sale.
Yeah, there you go. But they have, out on Highway 50 and stuff, they have big warehouses full of stuff as well. So they've got off-site supplies in Omaha. And not that we need to give Walmart a shout-out.
They're doing fine without us. But everyone keeps talking about all of the Amazon warehouses that have either opened or are under construction. Omaha, be 4 of them, all big, one in particular huge. But a lot of people don't realize that industrial is crazy. I was talking with a couple of our industrial brokers at NAI and Dodge yesterday, and they were saying, you guys would not believe the companies that are coming into town, big companies that are leasing space and how fast it's going. It's really quite exciting, actually.
Brian Hartman and I are working with one in particular, over 100,000 square foot national tenant that's looking in Omaha, and it's not like there's a lot of spaces to be had. So you either have to plan a year in advance at least or get lucky.
Well, guys, let's talk about a cool project, because one of the most popular things we possibly can bring up on the Grow Omaha show would be tall buildings. And just this week, City Ventures, which is the owner of the iconic Central Park Plaza Twin Towers. These are the 2 red brick buildings that you always see when you see that classic photograph of Omaha, of the Gene Leahy Mall.
Toast and Markle signs are on there.
Yeah, Toast and Markle up there. These buildings are now 39 years old, which is crazy to think that they're that old. But plans now call for a 17-story building to be inserted into the middle of the Twin Towers, okay? They're going to pop a thing. Now, it'll be attached so that the buildings and the new building will all have one floor plate. So there'll be big floor plates. But from the outside, it'll look like a 17-story building has been wedged
a couple
right
stories
into
higher than what's existing, I believe.
Yeah. How cool is that going to be?
I want to see how the windows in the current buildings, what they're looking at when they put these buildings together.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is a $105 million project. It only adds like 80,000 square feet, it sounds like.
It's an 80,000 square foot tower that they're wedging into the building.
And Jorge, on the planning board, they just received approval for $18 million in tax increment financing, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So the numbers are kind of staggering on this project. So right now, the building's only really taxed on about $14 million of perceived value. And they're thinking of a final valuation of $80 million once this project is done.
Wow.
It's a staggering amount of money.
Yeah. For an
So-
addition.
for an addition, basically.
A little more than that, but they're redoing a lot of the existing buildings as well. As
They're
part of-
reskinning the whole thing too, so it's really going to look different. It's going to be a massive building. It's going to really change our skyline, and I think fix a lot of the issues in that building that they're seeing. Obviously, you've got two interesting, sides to that building, and now you're going to create a really kind of contiguous space for each tenant.
And this adds another $100 million basically to the $400 million park development. This is at the head of that area.
Exactly.
And then conceivably what we're talking about is the W.Dale Clark Library is going to come down, and a yet to be named developer. That could be another 15-story project, right?
Well, we talked last summer, Trenton. You and I confidentially talked to someone who might be involved in building a building on that site that said maybe it could be closer to 20. The building that they have planned, potentially, possibly, maybe for the W.Dale Clark site. So a couple interesting thoughts. One, the going back to the Central Park Plaza Twin Towers insert, that'll be another tower crane that all of us construction geeks will
Probably
enjoy.
more than one.
And number two, if the building that we think might be coming onto the W.Dale Clark site happens, will you even see it? Will you even see it once that building's done?
Exactly. I mean, we're going to have it just in like a one block radius from there. You're going to have like 3 massive projects potentially, and there's going to be cranes everywhere. And then they're going to retain a lot of that retail as well. They're going to do a lot of ground floor retail as well in the Central Park Plaza project. So it's going to be great and walkable, and it's going to change our skyline totally.
And then moving east, there could be another about a 6-story building, we believe, where all the construction equipment is now.
You're talking
On
about
the west side of the park, right?
right. Trenton's talking about the square block that had always been the westernmost point of the Jean Leahy Mall. And like Trenton said, that's being used for construction staging now. But everything we're hearing is that will no longer be part of the park. It will be some building. My guess would probably be mixed use with a heavy multifamily component.
Yeah,
on that one,
multifamily, probably some office as well.
or retail on the
They
ground
have a nice
floor.
like stepped up, I think, view from the park.
Yeah.
Looking at the buildings, it's going to step up nicely, I think.
You guys, there have been, and we haven't really addressed this on the show because there's so much that we don't know, but there are some fanciful rumors going around about possible tall buildings going downtown. And it's so funny. I love to go and I talk to people. I talked to some people yesterday in the industry, and a lot of people said, "Yep, a lot of exciting stuff coming downtown. A lot of big stuff. So. We don't know exactly what all it involves, but there's a lot of talk about some buildings down there that could be fairly tall.
Well, the former UP site is prime for redevelopment. We've seen some renderings over the years that that could be next in line as well.
Yeah, and the question is who would be a tenant for it if it does truly happen. There were even rumors floating around that maybe a general contractor was selected for the former UP site. Again, nothing has been announced, but Brad, with all of the stuff going down there, we know something's going to be happening.
Yeah, the interesting thing with all the rumors, too, is it's all companies that are already here relocating, and so that would even open up more development property around town, too.
And secondary space, they might have a campus already, or they might have a big building that could be repurposed. And here's this new Apex, which is Central Park Plaza. They call it renaming it the
new
Apex.
name. Yeah.
That's 39 years old, and so they're not afraid to take these buildings, and you're seeing that around town, and which is a lot better than Could you imagine? There's no reason to scrap a building of that quality, obviously.
So, question for you guys: do you consider that building Class B or Class A, Central Park Plaza?
Right now?
Yes.
It's Class B, I would
B.
say.
Okay,
B,
Class B.
yeah.
Because they refer to it as Class B as well, and I was just curious what everybody thought, if that was accurate. I mean, I guess it's true.
Now, the last time I was in one of the upper floor offices in that building was several years ago, and even back then, my memory of it is kind of, and I apologize if this is not accurate, but my memory is a little bit low ceiling, not all that brightly lit. And now
I don't recall that.
I might be wrong on that, but
I know it's been redone quite a bit already. I mean, City Ventures has gone from 25 employees to like over 200.
They're
and they're in
blowing
that
up.
building.
Yeah, they're
so I
blowing
mean, there's
up.
a lot of people. By the way, this is just the building. The parking garage to the west. There's also plans for that. I know they're working closely
old
with the
Park
city
Fair.
of Omaha. Yeah, so they're working with the city of Omaha to decide, what's going to happen, what kind of updates are going to be there. But they're going to retain the parking, obviously, and it's going to be a good amenity.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of rents. If they're going for a Class A rent, you have some pretty hefty rates.
Yeah, would have to.
But if they were Class A, wouldn't they need a more of an attached parking garage for all this square footage in the building?
For the true definition?
Yeah, true definition of Class A, ladies and gentlemen, is garage parking for a lot of it. Multi-story, which that certainly qualifies. Some of the amenities.
Restaurants, food service, fitness, workout area, nicer meeting and event spaces.
So that
But
also
you got all that around there.
that also answers the question, or asks the question of if they need more parking, where does that go around there? I mean, that could be part of a whole nother development.
Indeed, yeah.
But if you're Pickleman's or some of those restaurants around there and some of those services, you just got to be licking your chops.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of deliveries.
A lot of deliveries. Oh, and by the way, there is
2,000
talk.
employees they're talking about.
There is talk that there could be a bar restaurant on the top floor of that new building insert, which would be pretty nice.
I think we should make a rule that if you're going to get TIF, you have to put a bar on top of your building.
You
There
know,
you go.
I am 100% in favor of that.
And
outside.
affordable housing, too. But I'm just saying the bar on top
Yeah,
of the
sure.
building would be good.
Yeah. There's all that other stuff, but mostly the bar, Jorge. That's what I'm kind of intrigued by. That, yeah, if you're going to have a building that is more than say 6 stories and you get TIF, must have either top floor bar, lounge, restaurant, or rooftop bar.
Or pickleball.
Or pickleball. Just put
Pickleball.
pickleball everywhere at this point.
Yeah, darn right. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.